does not need benevolent dictators. And there is argument that is normally put forth. They cite Lee Kuan Yew and little Singapore, which is a city-state. And I told them that there is a sense in which the ideas are good, but the solution of Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore will not quite work in Democratic Republic of Congo. But there are ideas that can be borrowed. But I still believe that a democratic dispensation is capable of delivering these things. And once again, one looks at Ethiopia. Ethiopia, a population of nearly 90 million, slowly releasing its, and I think that the Ethiopian model, if it continues at the pace at which it is continuing, there is a sense in which Ethiopia in the next 30 years may be a country to look at. Releasing the political space slowly, because you don't want to confront us with some of these ideas too quickly, like I find ourselves confronted in Kenya and other countries. Slowly, and slowly working on the land tenure systems. I was telling him, in my rural village, somebody who is working on a swamp asked the local community to give one block of 100 acres of land, and there was none to be found, because after every 10 meters there is a grave. And in my culture, you can't just come and plow down this grave, because the departed will visit pain upon you. So you can see that sometimes dealing with these issues is not as easy. You have fellows, you start off, your father left you with 10 acres of land. You have 5 brothers. 10 years down the line, it is now divided into 2 acres. You have each 3 sons, and now daughters are also included. By the time you are finished with dividing this land, each one of us now has a piece of land of this kind of acreage, just a small space like this. And you must agree with me that that also militates against the intervention that you are making. And there are areas in which, like Kenya, what percentage of land is arable in Kenya? Very small percentage of land is arable. And the Sahara Desert is not shy about moving down south. So there is a sense in which all these things must also be looked at in the context of land tenure systems. And this is something that I know we are not confronting, and you confront it on the ground. So as I conclude, there is a sense in which technology is a problem. In fact, Nyerere had it right. He got it. He realized very early on, how do we do it? We do it by putting together. Right now, our government, for example, says that electricity, there is 60% penetration. In my rural home, there is one transformer. It serves only 2 families, because one family is there, another one is there, so that you have this penetration, but is fiction of penetration. The truth is that that one transformer, if you had settlement, it would serve possibly 20 households. It would release land, and it would ensure that indeed you can have some of these things done in a manner that is friendly to technology. And lastly, we must also consider, I remember, and some of you will remember, in very many households in rural Africa, there was a kitchen garden. It may not have been called a kitchen garden, but there was something where there was always a banana plantation. There was always some tradition of vegetables. Once you'd washed your utensils, you'll pour water into it. It is irrigation by accident, but irrigation nevertheless. All these things have to be brought to bear. And one must conclude by saying that one is simply giving the ideas, but I think that the game changer in Africa, at the critical level, is at the level of the fish not rotting at the head. I think that is fundamentally the problem, that all these beautiful ideas that are being generated, there is no sense of implementation, so that you'll find that individuals in government will actually undermine agriculture because they are the major importers of maize. So they don't want it to succeed. They'll undermine rice production because they are importing rice. But if you look at countries that are beginning to think about their countries, look at countries like Japan, with nothing. They are encouraging the growing of rice in little sacks in people's households. So there are many things, but yet even in the face of all that, I refuse to give up hope. because I hold the view that this continent can realize our potential. And sometimes you who are present there may think that you are doing nothing. But let me tell you, ask yourself, as one policeman once asked me when we were in the business of condemning policemen in the 1990s, he says, let us today as policemen announce that we have withdrawn our services for 1 week. It is only then that you would know that our presence contributes to something. Just ask yourself the question, suppose Agra were to withdraw her services where you are working today. You may think you have a bad situation, but it would be desperate if you left, which means that your intervention is worth something. You may not solve it, and as I grow older, I no longer look for solutions which are dramatic, which will happen in my lifetime. I hold the view that is block by block, that those who plant the tree are different from those who water it. And those who prune the tree are different from those who will ultimately enjoy the shade. It is generational. If you look at it that way, then you will be comfortable in the knowledge that you only play your part, and play it so well that when you go to sleep, you have a decent 5-hour sleep. That is the only way. Thank you.